chapters that we are going to see about the churning of the milk ocean. Such an amazing pastime, because normally when we hear about a pastime of the Supreme Lord, there is only one form of the Supreme Lord that comes and does something. And another pastime will be another form of the Supreme Lord, and he does another pastime there. So, like that, we see different forms of the Lord at different points in time. But in the churning of the milk ocean, different incarnations, different forms of the Lord are there simultaneously. Such a great pastime that we are going to see over the next many chapters. And then in the churning of the milk ocean pastime, Bali Maharaj is the king of the Asuras, and Indra is the king of the demigods. All those things happen. Mohini Murti comes and gets the nectar and then cheats the Asuras and gives it only to the demigods. All that happens. And then Bali Maharaj is the king of the heavenly planets, and the Supreme Lord comes as Vamana Dev to reclaim the heavenly planets from Bali Maharaj and give it to Indra. So those pastimes happen. And then Matsya Avatar, the Lord appearing in the form of fish, a giant, huge, golden, effulgent fish. So this, all these things are happening right here in Canto 8. That's why I said like it's a action-packed canto. So now today we are about to move ahead from the Gajendra pastime, because Gajendra has been taken back to Vaikunta by the Supreme Lord, and we are at the beginning of chapter 5, text 1. Shri Shuka Vacha Rajan Uditam Yetatte Hare Karma Ganashanam Gajendra Mokshanam Punyam Raivatam Tvantaram Shrinu. Sri Shuka Vacha. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, Rajan, O king, Uditam already described, Etat, this, Te, unto you, Hare of the Lord, Karma, activity, Aganashanam, by hearing which one can be freed from all misfortune. Gajendra Mokshanam, deliverance of Gajendra, the king of the elephants. Punyam, very pious to hear and describe. Raivatam, about Raivatam Manu. Two, but Antaram, in this millennium. Shunu, kindly hear from me. Translation. Sukadeva Goswami continued, O king, I have described to you the pastime of Gajendra Mokshana, which is most pious to hear. By hearing of such activities of the Lord, one can be freed from all sinful reactions. Now please listen as I describe Raivatamanu. Shrunu. In Bhagavad Gita also, we will hear Krishna saying, Tat Shrunu, Tat Shrunu, Tat Shrunu. When, means hear, hear, hear. Hearing is very, very, very important. So we just chanted the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra in the morning, and we will also chant rest of the day too. But chanting means it's not only just making the sound with our tongue and mouth. We also have to hear the sound that has been produced, and that is important. That is called japa. Japa is not just chanting alone. Japa is chanting and hearing, chanting and hearing. So when we say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, we have to bring our mind to focus attentively on hearing the sound that we are vibrating with our tongue. So, Shrunu, hearing is very important. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. That's what Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Prahlad Maharaj said, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. We have to hear about Vishnu. Vishnu means like all the forms of the Supreme Lord. It could be Rama, it could be Krishna, it could be Matsya, it could be Kurma, it could be Narayana, all the different forms of the Supreme Lord. So, Shravanam. After Shravanam, only Kirtanam comes. So, we have to hear. We have to hear about the various we have to hear about the Supreme Lord and his various forms and incarnations, his expansions, and so many things, and all the activities they did and all their devotees. So there are unlimited subject matter to hear. So we have to hear, and we have to hear the glories of the Supreme Lord and his elevated devotees. That's why Sukadeva Goswami is saying to Parikshit Maharaj, Rajan, O king, kindly hear from me, because I have described Gajendra Moksha. Hearing that, what is the benefit we get? We also see that, right? Falastuti at the end of the previous chapter. Just by remembering what? Remembering Gajendra. And not only just Gajendra, that huge body of water and the mountains that are surrounding that. It's such a beautiful place. And not only remembering that, who came? The Supreme Lord came. The Supreme Lord came on his Garuda. So we can remember the Supreme Lord and Garuda. And when we talk about the Supreme Lord, we were asked to remember certain things. The Srivatsa mark on his chest, the Panchajanya conch that he has in his hand, and he has bow, right? Sharanga. And then he has Kaumodaki, the club or mace in his hand. So all these things we were asked to focus on, meditate on, remember. So when we every day, when we just wake up and get up from bed, we can fix our mind on this scene. Gajendra, the huge reservoir of water and surrounded by beautiful mountains, picturesque scenic place, and then the Supreme Lord with four arms is coming on his Garuda. And then he has Srivatsa mark, he has Panchajanya Kanch in his hand, he has Kaumadaki, the mace in his hand, and Sharanga, the bow in his hand. All these things he has. So I'm remembering all these things immediately vanquishes all our misfortunes and brings in all auspiciousness in our life. And we are doing this right in the morning when we wake up and get up from bed. How nice it is. So that's where chapter 4 ended. And now Sukadeva Goswami is telling, I narrated all this, and you are getting this benefit by just hearing about that Gajendra Moksha pastime. Now I am going to describe about Raivata Manu, because if you remember at the beginning of Canto 8, Parikshit Maharaj said, oh, you described about Swayambhuva Manu, his lineage, all the descendants that came in his lineage, and various appearances of the Supreme Lord that happened in that Manvantara. Manvantara is the that period of Manu's rule. Like that, there are so many different Manus that come. So please describe all the Manus and their lineage, because he wants to know the full history. Because while discussing the Manus and the history and the lineage, we are going to hear about the specific incarnations of the Supreme Lord that has happened uh, in that Manvantara. So that's why Parikshit Maharaj is asking that, and that's why Sukadeva Goswami is answering. We have to remember, Parikshit Maharaj has had only 7 days to live when the narration started. The discussion between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj started. He had 7 days to live. They are not going to waste discussing topics that are totally time wasters, because they don't have any time to waste. Then if they are going to discuss all these things, oh, they are talking about all the Manus and all the lineages of the Manus. Oh, what? These guys don't have any time. They're just doing some Gramya Katha. No, because Manus are also devotees of the Supreme Lord, and during each Manvantara, different incarnations of the Supreme Lord happened, and specific pastimes happened. So it leads to that. That is why Parikshit Maharaj is asking that question at the beginning of Canto 8. He says, okay, please describe all the Manus and their lineage and who came, all that. Because they are all glorious personalities, not only about the Supreme Lord, about the devotees of the Supreme Lord also. So that is the purpose behind Parikshit Maharaj's uh, request to Sukadev Goswami when this canto started. So now he described about one particular Manu, and that's when Gajendra Moksha and all those pastimes happened. Now he is going to talk about Raivata Manu. Shunu, kindly hear from me. Sri, who is saying? Sukadeva Goswami is saying. Just hearing from Sukadeva Goswami, we are liberated. That is the beauty of reading and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Because who is speaking it? Sukadeva Goswami himself is speaking it, and he is saying, kindly hear from me, Shrunu. Okay, who heard from Sukadeva Goswami when he was speaking Srimad Bhagavatam? Who was present there? He was speaking it to Parikshit Maharaj. We all know that. But who else was there? His own father, Vyasadeva, who composed Srimad Bhagavatam. He was sitting there. He was hearing, because when Sukadeva Goswami is narrating the same thing, Vyasadeva is not thinking, oh, I wrote this, I know everything. He heard it from me and he is speaking it. No, that was not the mood. When it is coming from the mouths of Sukadeva Goswami, it was so filled with bhakti. And everybody that was present, including Vyasadeva, was relishing that bhakti, that mood of bhakti that Sukadeva was. Yes. So when it was touched, Srimad Bhagavatam was touched by the mouth of Sukadeva Goswami, it became even more enriched and empowered with the bhakti that he was carrying. That is why it is very, very, very important to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from the devotees. There are so many people that give Bhagavata Saptaha, Bhagavata Katha, and so on. But that is not the intention is not to just hear and collect information. The intention is to hear from devotees so that that bhakti will get transmitted to us. We will get infected with the bhakti that they have in their heart. So that is the intention. So that is why Vyasadeva was sitting there and relishing, wow, it feels so nice to hear from Sukadeva Goswami, the Srimad Bhagavatam. And not only Vyasadeva, Vyasadev's guru, Narada Muni, he is the bhakti, he is the incarnation of the bhakti energy of the Supreme Lord. So he is sitting there and he is relishing, oh, what a wonderful narration. So we have to learn from them. It's not like, oh, I have read it, I know about this, oh, I know, oh, I can quote the verse number and I can quote the verse, recite the verse. No, that is not the point. The point is how much bhakti we are having, how much bhakti we are developing. So that we have to learn from Narada Muni and Vyasadeva. So Sukadeva Goswami is saying, Shunu, kindly hear from me. So let's pay attention to what Sri Sukadeva Goswami is saying or speaking. Second verse. Panchamo Raivato Nama Manustamasa Sodaraha Bali Vindyadayastasya Sutaha Arjuna Purvaka. Translation. The brother of Tamasa Manu was the fifth Manu named Raivata. His sons were headed by Arjuna, Bali, and Vindhya. So we saw about the fourth Manu, Tamasa Manu, and after that the fifth Manu came. His name is Raivata, who is none other than the brother of Tamasa Manu. And Raivata Manu had sons. Arjuna, Bali, and Vindhya. This Bali is totally different from the Bali Maharaj that we hear about. So because the people can have same names. So, and this Arjuna is also not the Arjuna that we hear in Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita. So, aided by Arjuna, Bali, and Vindhya. That those were the sons of Raivata. Text 3. Vibhurindra Suragana Rajan Bhutarayadayaha Hiranyaroma Vedashira Urdhva Bhavadayo Dvija. Translation. O king, in the millennium of Raivatamanu, the king of heaven was known as Vibhu. Among the demigods were the Bhutarayas, and among the seven Brahmanas who occupied the seven planets were Hiranyaroma, Vedashira, and Urdhvabahu. So every time a Manu comes, right? The lifetime of Manu is very, 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 very long. So many hundreds, thousands of years pass on human calculation on Earth planet. Such a long duration the Manu is ruling. The Manu is the king of all human beings. That is the position of Manu. And a very qualified personality takes that post. And when nobody is there available, the Supreme Lord himself fills that post. Same thing happens with Indra also. Indra is not a name. Indra is a post. And there is a person with a name who is holding that post. So what happens is every time a Manu comes in, a new set of Indra demigods and the Sapta Rishis, the seven main rishis, they come. And then that rule of Manu is going on. And when that rule of Manu ends, the next Manu takes over. And then now new Indra comes, new set of demigods come, new set of Sapta Rishis, the seven rishis come. So that is why it is here mentioned who was the king of heaven, who was Indra when Raivata Manu was the Manu, right? So Vibhu, that person's name was Vibhu. That person was sitting on the post of Indra during Raivata Manu's rule. And then among the demigods, there are different people that come as Agni Deva, Vayu Deva, Varuna Deva, Surya Deva, right? So here it says the demigod's name is also mentioned, Bhutaraya. And then seven rishis. Among the seven rishis, the name of some of the rishis are being mentioned there because they are prominent. Hiranyaroma, Vedashira, Urdhva Bahu. So that is the understanding that we get by reading our Puranas. And Bhagavatam is also a Purana. So it is going to talk about the creation of the material universe, the structure of the material universe, and what are all the various different planetary systems in the material universe, and the different manus that are going to rule, and during who are the each of those manus, and during that manu who was occupying the post of Indra, who was occupying the post of the demigods, who was occupying the post of the seven rishis. So all these details we will be getting. So we don't need to get bewildered about all these different manus, different indras and all, but the principle is very simple. Just like we have every country, in USA we have a president and vice president, and in India we have a president, vice president, prime minister, and so on. So the prime minister is getting elected. They are for a certain period of time. Similarly, here the president is getting elected for a certain period of time. And then again the election happens and some other person gets elected. So it's like that. Text 4. Patni Vikunta Subrasya Vaikuntai Surasattamai Tayosva Kalaya Jagye Vaikunto Bhagavan Swayam. Translation. From the combination of Shubra and his wife, Vikunta, there appeared the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vaikunta, along with demigods who were his personal plenary expansions. So now, when he is talking about the lineage and everything, there is a description of a personality called Shubra and his wife Vikunta. So they gave birth to an incarnation of the Supreme Lord who came to be known as Vaikunta because he came from Vikunta. So son of Vikunta is Vaikunta. वैकुंठ कल्पितो येन लोको लोक नमस्कृतः रमया प्रार्थ्यमानेन देव्या तत्प्रियकाम्यया. Just to please the goddess of fortune, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vaikunta, at a request, created another Vaikunta planet, which is worshipped by everyone. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks here that this Vaikunta planet, like Srimad Bhagavatam, appears and is said to be born or created. But both Srimad Bhagavatam and Vaikunta eternally exist beyond the material universes, which are enveloped by 8 kinds of coverings. As described in the second canto, Lord Brahma saw Vaikunta before the creation of the universe. Veera Acharya mentions that this Vaikunta is within the universe. It is situated above the mountain known as Loka Loka. This planet is worshipped by everyone. So typically in our Puranas and in Srimad Bhagavatam also, we hear about the spiritual world. The spiritual universes are there, and the material creation, the material universes are there. The spiritual universes are generally labeled as Vaikunta. The meaning of Vaikunta means a place that doesn't have any anxiety or suffering. A place that is free from anxieties and sufferings is called Vaikunta because there is no birth, no death, no old age, no disease, no sufferings, nothing. It's a unlimited, variegated happiness and bliss. That is the nature of the spiritual universes. So that is called Vaikunta. But here it says this personality who is called Vaikunta, upon the request of the goddess of fortune, his eternal consort, he created another Vaikunta planet within the material universe itself. Because the Supreme Lord can do anything. Oh, the Vaikunta cannot be within the material universe, it can be only outside the material universe. Oh, is it so? Goddess of fortune will come and say, oh, my poor children are there in this material universe. They are bereft of your association. Kindly create a Vaikunta within this material universe also. So at her request, the Supreme Lord obliges and has created a Vaikunta within the material universe also. So that is the power, beauty, and compassion of the Supreme Lord. And even more compassionate than the Supreme Lord is eternal consort. Because when the Supreme Lord comes as he is Krishna, his eternal consort is Srimati Radharani. And when he comes as Lord Ramchandra, his eternal consort is Mother Sita. And when he expands himself as Narayan, his eternal consort is Mahalakshmi. So like that, the Supreme Lord is always accompanied by his spiritual energy all the time. Because Prabhupada says, right, sun means sunshine also, sun rays. Sun rays cannot exist without the sun, and sun cannot be called complete without the sunshine and sun rays. So, just like that, the Supreme Lord is not complete without his spiritual potency. That spiritual potency takes the personified form as Srimati Radharani. So, here, this personality incarnation called Vaikunta, he has this eternal consort, the goddess of fortune. Upon her request, the Supreme Lord created another Vaikuntha planet within this material universe. That is the stunning, amazing activity done by this personality. तस्यानुभावकथितो गुणाश्च परमोदया भौमान् रेणून् स विममे यो विष्णुर्वर्णयेद् गुणान्. Translation: Although the great activities and transcendental qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's various incarnations are wonderfully described, sometimes we are unable to understand them. Yet, everything is possible for Lord Vishnu. If one could count the atoms of the universe, then he could count the qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But no one can count the atoms of the universe, nor can anyone count the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Purport: The Lord's glorious activities referred to in this connection took place after his personal bodyguards, Jaya and Vijaya, become Daityas, having been cursed by the great sages Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanat Kumara, and Sanandana. Jaya, as Hiranyaksha, had to fight with Varahadev, and that same Varahadev is mentioned in regards to the Raivata millennium. The fighting, however, took place during the reign of the first Manu, Swayambhuva. Therefore, according to some authorities, there are two Varahas. According to others, however, Varaha appeared during the regime of Swayambhuva Manu and stayed in the water until that of Raivata Manu. Some may doubt that this could be possible, but the answer is that everything is possible. If one could count the atoms within the universe, one could count the qualities of Lord Vishnu. But the atoms of the universe are impossible for anyone to count. And similarly, no one can count the transcendental qualities of the Lord. So basically, it means innumerable. We cannot even count it. There are so many that we cannot even count. That many qualities the Supreme Lord possesses. Atoms, we say, because if this verse is saying atoms, we can also see grains of sand on the beach. How many grains of sand are there? Can it be even counted? We'll just say like that's a bunch of grains of sand are there. That's it. We know that it's huge. So it's like that. We cannot even count the atoms of the universe. So huge. So basically it means like unlimited, innumerable qualities the Supreme Lord has. Because the previous verse itself, it's Sukadev Goswami was mentioning, upon the request of the goddess of fortune, the Supreme Lord in the form of Vaikuntha created a Vaikuntha planet within this material universe. How is this possible? It looks like a story that is being told to children. No, it is possible. That is why the next verse itself, Sukadeva Goswami is saying, his qualities are unlimited, innumerable. So he can do anything that is within our imagination and anything that is even beyond our imagination. He is that capable a personality. That is the Supreme Lord. And then Prabhupada is also mercifully giving another example in the purport about Varahadev. So Varahadev happened in the first Manu, during the period of the first Manu, Swayambhuva Manu. Jaya and Vijaya are the doorkeepers of Lord Vishnu. And then Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanat Kumar, Sanandana, the four Kumaras, the boys of Brahma, they come and they are stopped from entering, and then they get cursed and they take birth as Jaya takes birth as Hiranyaksha, Vijaya takes birth as Hiranyakashipu. So Hiranyaksha had a fight with the Supreme Lord in the form of boar, Varaha avatar. So Varaha appeared in Swayambhuva Manu, But there is another mention of Varaha during the Raivata Manu. Raivata Manu is like the fifth Manu. So many thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years have passed. So how come? So it could be the Lord appeared again as Varaha during the fifth Manu, Raivata Manu's period. That is possible. Another explanation given by some acharyas is the same Varaha that appeared in Swayambhuva Manu's time. He just stayed and in this material universe, and when during the fifth Manu, he again exhibited some pastimes. So both explanations are equally possible. And the Supreme Lord is so wonderful with innumerable, unlimited qualities, he can do anything. That is, even it could look like a wildest imagination, wildest fantasy. He can do it. Because everything that is within our imagination and beyond our imagination is possible for the Supreme Lord to perform. So that is his inconceivable potency. That is why he is Supreme Lord. We cannot even understand it. We cannot understand it, that's fine. But we can just hear it and be amazed by it. षष्ठश्च चक्षुषपुत्रश्चाक्षुषो नाम वै मनुः पूरुपूरुषसुद्युम्ना प्रमुखाश्च चाक्षुषात्मजा. Translation: the son of Chakshu, known as Chakshusha, was the sixth Manu. He had many sons headed by Puru, Purusha, and Sudyumna. So we heard about Tamasa Manu, the fourth Manu, the fifth Manu was Raivata Manu, and the sixth Manu was Chakshusha Manu. Indro mantra drumastatra deva apyadayo gana munayastatra vairajan havishmad virakadayaha. Translation: during the reign of Chakshushamanu, the king of heaven was known as Mantradruma. Among the demigods were the Apyas, and among the great sages were Havishman and Viraka. See again here during the Chakshushamanu, again it says who was occupying the post of Indra? A person named Mantradruma. And among the demigods, there were many demigods, each one was a person with a different name. And there is a specific mention of a particular person called Apya. And then the great sages were there, seven, again the seven rishis, right? And again, two prominent people are being mentioned, Avishman and Viraka. Tatrapi deva sambhutyam vairajasya bhavatsutaha ajito nama bhagavan amsena jagatapatihi. Translation: in the sixth Manvantara millennium, Lord Vishnu, the master of the universe, appeared in his partial expansion. He was begotten by Vairaja in the womb of his wife Deva Sambhuti, and his name was Ajita. So, Chakshusha Manu, the sixth Manu. During this Manu's rule, another incarnation of the Supreme Lord happened. He appeared as the son of Vairaja and Deva Sambhuti, and he took a name Ajita. And this Ajita is the one who is going to do the churning of the milk ocean and the various pastimes related to that. Payodim yena nirmatya suranam sadita sudha brahmamanam basidrita kurma rupena mandaraha. Translation: by churning of the ocean of milk, Ajita produced nectar for the demigods. In the form of a tortoise, he moved here and there, carrying on his back the great mountain known as Mandara. So, this incarnation, Ajita, he also expanded and took the form of tortoise, the Kurma Avatara, right? And in the form of a tortoise, what did he do? He carried the great mountain Mandara on his shell, on his back. And they used Vasuki, the snake, as the rope, and Mandara mountain was the churning rod. And the churning rod, Mandara mountain, was resting on the back of Kurma, right? And Kurma was another form of this incarnation, Ajita. श्रीराज उवाच यथा भगवता ब्रह्मन् मतित क्षीरसागरः यदर्थं वा यतश्चाद्रिं ददाराम्बुचरात्मना यथामृतं सुरैः प्राप्तं किं चान्यदभवत्ततः एतद् भगवतः कर्म वदस्व परमाद्भुतम्. Translation. King Parikshit inquired, O great Brahmana, Sukadeva Goswami, why and how did Lord Vishnu churn the ocean of milk? For what reason did he stay in the water as a tortoise and hold up Mandara mountain? How did the demigods obtain the nectar? And what other things were produced from the churning of the ocean? Kindly describe all these wonderful activities of the Lord. So now, Sukadeva Goswami is describing the various Manus and who was the Indra and who was the demigod and who were the seven rishis. All those things he is describing, and he has come to sixth Manu. And immediately when he says the Supreme Lord he incarnated as Ajita and he churned the milk ocean, immediately Parikshit Maharaj gets very enthusiastic. And that's why he is asking all these questions to Sukadeva Goswami and saying, wow, why did the Supreme Lord churn the milk ocean? What was the necessity? And how did it happen? How did he do it? And why did he come as a tortoise to hold? And he held the Mandara mountain on the back, you said. Why? What happened? And you said like they churned the milk ocean and they got the nectar out and the Supreme Lord gave it to the demigods. Can you describe more detail what happened? And did anything else get produced when the milk ocean was churned? So please list all the items that were produced too. And all these is like unfathomable, unimaginable, beyond our human experience and conception. Such a wonderful, amazing thing has happened. So, all these wonderful activities were done by the Supreme Lord when he incarnated as Ajita and Kurma, and few other incarnations are going to come in this pastime. Please describe all their wonderful activities. I just want to keep hearing and hearing and hearing and hearing and hearing and hearing and keep my mind fixed on the wonderful Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. That is the intention of these questions by Parikshit Maharaj. Tvaya sankat सङ्कत्यमानेन महिम्ना सात्वतां पते नातितृप्यति मे चित्तं सुचिरं तापतापितम्. Satvatam pati. Quite a few times that word comes in Srimad Bhagavatam. Satvatam means devotees because they are filled with sattva and Shuddha sattva. That's why sattva. And swatvatam is plural. Swatvatam. And here it says swatvatam pati. Pati is Lord or Master. So Master of all the devotees. So basically it means the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why swatvatam pati means of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, especially in the role of the Master of the devotees. Translation. My heart, which is disturbed by the three miserable conditions of material life, is not yet sated with hearing you describe the glorious activities of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Master of the devotees. So, Parikshit Maharaj is continuing after asking all those questions. You are because where we are at eighth canto. So right from second canto, beginning of second canto, Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj have been discussing, and Sukadeva Goswami has been explaining various different incarnations of the Supreme Lord, the pastimes, the various devotees that he interacted with, all those data. But Parikshit Maharaj is saying, I am still not satiated. Tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. That eagerness, that enthusiasm is the hallmark of a sincere devotee. Others will say, "Oh, when will this class end? Oh, when will I have to do this, I have to do that. My full day is ahead of me. And this Prabhu is just keeping on talking, 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 talking." No, but devotees will say, oh, I never did not even feel that this long a time has passed. It was so engrossing, absorbing. I forgot about everything else. So here Parikshit Maharaj is in that same mode. He's saying, I want to hear more. I feel my heart is not satiated yet. I want to hear more about the Supreme. I want to hear more. So please describe, please describe, please describe. And while he is saying, he is giving a very good indication also. What is saying, my heart, which is disturbed by the three miserable conditions of material life. What are the three miserable conditions of material life? Threefold sufferings: adhyatmika klesha, adi adi bhaudika klesha, adi daivika klesha. Miseries and suffering caused by our own mind, miseries and suffering caused by our body, miseries and sufferings caused by other living entities, and the natural disturbances. So all these things are classified under these three sufferings. Mind and body is adhyatmika. Adibhaudika is miseries caused by other living beings to us. And Adidaivika is the natural disturbances. It becomes too hot, it becomes too cold, it becomes too much rain, flooding is a problem, no rain, drought is a problem, earthquake, all these things are like the Adidaivika klesha, natural disturbances. So my heart, which is disturbed because we are living in this material universe created by the material energy under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. So material energy is used to create the material universes, and the creator himself has certified it in Bhagavad Gita. Dukhalayam is a place full of sufferings. This material universe is a place full of suffering. It's not a place where we have to where we can find a permanent happiness. So all these three forms of sufferings are there. But when I hear about the Supreme Lord, his various incarnations, various pastimes, and his devotees and their wonderful activities, I am getting relief from these material sufferings. That is the point that Parikshit Maharaj is making. That is the benefit of reading and hearing about the Supreme Lord and his devotees. So that's why my heart, which is disturbed by the three miserable conditions of material life, is not yet satiated with hearing you describe the glorious activities of the Lord, who is the master of all devotees. So please, please, please go on, describe in more detail, give more details. I just want to keep hearing, and all the material sufferings are removed. It doesn't even come near as long as we are reading and hearing about the Supreme Lord's glories. That is what Parikshit Maharaj is indicating here in this verse. Okay, let's stop here. We have like covered 13 verses for the day. Let's see if there is any comments or questions or discussion.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. This is Geeta. Thank you for this nectaring class, Prabhuji. So, what is the connection I wanted to ask you between Gajendra, right after the Gajendra Moksha, this happened? Or it's.
No, he's just describing the various manus and the various pastimes that happened during those manus. And the first that came up was that manu and the Gajendra pastime. And then we are moving on to the subsequent manus and the pastimes that happened there.
But how much later, we don't know. It
No,
happened.
we can know because it says yeah Manu's period we know exactly how long it is. It's like several hundred thousands of years a Manu's rule is. So we can figure out how and then this is only happening in one day of Brahma. Like that, there are several days of Brahma. That makes up 30 days equals a month, and then several months make a year, and several years like that. So every time when they say, they will say exactly what is the year of Brahma's lifetime and what particular month it is happening and what particular day of Brahma it is happening. So we know exactly where we are. Now, our material universe, our Brahma, is exactly past the midpoint of his lifetime. His duration is 100 years. So we are little past the 50 years of Brahma's lifetime. So 50 years means how many days of Brahma has gone by. And in each day, there are 14 Manus that come, and each Manu is existing for several thousands of years. It's mind-boggling numbers.
Yeah, correct. So, like you mentioned here, we have Ajit Avatar, right? Ajita.
Mhm.
So, but in this also Mohini Avatar came now.
Yeah,
So
it's
that is
going to be
Ajit.
mentioned. It's
So
in the subsequent verses in this same chapter. Parikshit Maharaj is going to mention about Mohini also. So please describe about all of them.
uh,
What did they do?
thank you, Prabhuji. So Gajendra, we are done with Gajendra Moksha Avatar.
Yeah.
I mean the Lord's. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you, Prabhu.
that pastime is done. Now we are, and this pastime is like multiple incarnations of the Supreme Lord are going to be present at the same time.
Yeah, that is true. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, my Danat Pranam to you. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Pranam.
Thank you. And I was liking that point that you mentioned that, we cannot understand the qualities of the Lord, just like you compare to the atom and the sand. We can't, the qualities. So, I was thinking there are two ways to look at it. If I look at it in a negative way, then it is like, there are so many qualities I will not be able to know. I mean, in this lifetime, however many books I read of Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, about Krishna. And the other way to look at this is qualities that, we should keep on hearing more and more, more and more, more and more. So my vision is going to both the sides. It's like, we live in the world of duality. So I'm thinking that I think the second one is more positive to understand, right?
And not only that, even if we do not know all the qualities of the Supreme Lord, some of the qualities are being brought out by Sukadeva Goswami in Srimad Bhagavatam, and some of the qualities are being brought out by other devotees in the pastimes that are being described. And our acharyas are also, with their very wonderful, sweet commentaries, they bring out the qualities. Even one quality we taste and experience, we get the same experience of the Supreme Lord. Whether we know the all the unlimited qualities or even only one quality of the Supreme Lord, it doesn't matter because we can experience the Supreme Lord in full and get the taste for the how sweet is the association of the Supreme Lord just by tasting and experiencing that one particular pastime, one quality.
Okay. So now you're connecting the qualities to pastimes, right?
Yeah, the pastimes are bringing them out because we see various different qualities that get brought out in each of the pastimes.
Okay. So basically, through the pastimes only, we come to know the qualities of the Lord. When we're hearing
Yep,
the pastimes, then we know the qualities. So then we
definitely.
also assume and say that as there are unlimited qualities, there are unlimited pastimes too.
Yeah, he is
Okay.
unlimited. Supreme, everything with Supreme Lord is unlimited. His glories are unlimited. His pastimes are unlimited. His forms are unlimited. So, because of his forms unlimited, he has unlimited universes in the spiritual world. Everything is unlimited. That is the characteristic, main characteristic of the Supreme Lord.
Yes, thank you so much. I'll try to be more focused on the, I was comparing it to reading Bhagavatam. Like we get discouraged, there's so many verses, but it's like there's a saying, right? Page by page, become a sage.
Mhm.
So, and luckily in Krishna consciousness, Yasi, Grhasta, Vanaprastha, Brahmachari, whatever, you can still continue and everybody follows the same rules, regulations. We're all actually on the same platform only. Just that somehow or the other, some are in Grhasta ashram and other, Vanaprastha and different ashrams, we are there. But yeah, definitely, it's, like everything about the Krishna consciousness is very, very encouraging, really nice. So thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your class. And I would request ask questions they have. Then we can end the call. Or yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you
Dandavad
so
Pranam.
much, Raghunath Prabhuji, for the wonderful class. Prabhuji, thank you for bringing up all the wonderful incarnations of the Lord and how we can follow the pastimes to purify ourselves. Prabhuji, my question is, Arjuna saw the Virat Rupa of the Lord, and he said he he doesn't like that. He only likes the two-handed form of the Lord as Krishna, the loving form. So we also know there are so many incarnations of the Lord, and we focus mostly on Krishna and Radharani. So um, is that okay that we respect and like the Lord in a particular form, not all the forms?
Yeah, that's fine because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirmed that, right, with Murari Gupta. Murari Gupta was an ardent worshipper of Lord Rama. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu calls Murari Gupta and say like, no, you should start worshipping Krishna. That's my direct order to you. So Murari Gupta hears that and he goes home. Throughout the night, he is trying to reconcile that instruction with his mood. And tossing and turning, he's not even able to sleep throughout the night. And then finally, he gets up in the morning and says, goes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and says, you have given me an instruction order, but I cannot fulfill it. So I have to give up my life. What happened? Asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. No, you said I have to stop worshipping Lord Rama and then I have to worship the original personality Krishna, but I'm not able to do that. So, and then I am so in love and respect with you. I cannot, oh, you have given me an order, instruction, I cannot follow it, so I have to give up my life. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu laughs and embraces him and says, I just wanted to show the world your fixed love and devotion to Lord Ram. There is no difference. You can continue worshipping Lord Ram. I was just teasing you. And at the same time, I was like establishing it for the benefit of everybody because it's the same personality in a different form. So the different people get attracted to a particular form of the Supreme Lord, which is perfectly fine. And your question was about, oh, I am getting attracted to only Krishna and Krishna's pastimes and everything, and I am not uh, able to focus that much on the other forms and the other pastimes that are being described. That's fine. But while reading that, we can still tell our mind or remind ourselves that this is the same Krishna. It's another form of Krishna. That's it. It's Krishna only doing the pastime in that other form. But my mind is attracted to Srimati Radharani and Krishna, their original eternal spiritual forms, which is fine. But while we are reading all these pastimes, we can remind ourselves that this is Krishna only in another form. That's it.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Haribol Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Thanks for awesome class. I have a question. So the reason, thank you so much for telling the story of Murari Gupta, Prabhu. My question is it, can we, does this implies that the Lord takes the form depending on the consciousness of the bhaktas or the
Now,
world?
he interacts with the bhakta according to the mood of that, but the form is eternally present in the spiritual world. It doesn't mean that he takes that form only at that time. Yeah, all the unlimited forms of the Supreme Lord are already there in the spiritual world eternally.
Okay.
But he will say, okay, this particular devotee has a specific mood and a specific thing, so I will come in that form to interact with that a devotee and reciprocate with the devotee in that form. The Supreme Lord will do that. But that doesn't mean that that form came into existence only at that time for the devotee. No, it's not. The Supreme Lord exists with these unlimited forms eternally in the spiritual world. It's already there.
So that means the Kalki avatar is already there
Yeah,
somewhere.
Kalki form is already there in the
It's already
spiritual
there.
world, but the Kalki form descends into the material universe at that time when it is needed.
Okay, okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhuji, I know it's not relevant for this class, but Kalki Avatar, they are saying uh, will come. Uh, when is it expected?
427,000 years more to go.
Oh, okay.
Because the total duration of Kali Yuga is 432,000, and we have just done 5,000 some odd years. That's it. There is long way to go.
Hmm. So, hypothetically, when anyone leaves the body at this stage, in this period, and they take another human birth, they'll come back in Kali Yuga only. You know?
No, see, who takes birth in what yuga is dependent upon that living being's consciousness. So we cannot, with our consciousness, we are not even qualified to take birth in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga. We can take birth only in Kali Yuga because of our consciousness. Because we will be born only when the Kali Yuga is in action. At that time, we will be born. But other elevated living beings who can be born in Satya Yuga, they will be born only during when Satya Yuga is in action. They are not going to be born in Kali Yuga unless otherwise there is a specific purpose the Supreme Lord has for them to appear in that Yuga.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. It's been a quiet group today.
Yes, Prabhuji, it's a very, beautiful, I must say, Lord's pastimes coming up and the way you described it. But to fathom, it is little difficult, but I don't know about others. I mean, one is trying to, take it in. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, we keep nibbling at it a little bit at a time and then keep reading again and again, hearing again and again, then it becomes a little more digestible, little more relatable, and so, oh yeah, I understand what's going on. Oh, this is what is going on. And then it becomes, otherwise, it's a sensory overload in one sense.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. So yesterday we were talking about Gajendra Moksha and how it is important to do it every day if one wants to get liberation.
Yeah, we can just remember that there is the scene I painted at the beginning of the session today. We can just get up and we can just remember, because that one verse at the end of chapter 4 perfectly captures it for us. It's like a very well taken digital picture by Sukadev Goswami, and he is giving it to us. We can just focus on those elements in that photo, and we remember, recollect each one of them, we get the benefit.
Yes, Prabhuji. How long does it take to do the whole Gajendra Moksha?
But it might take like 30 minutes, 45 minutes maybe. But to recollect the pastime in our mind, it might be even a minute. You can go through the entire pastime.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Anything else from anyone?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for this nectar class and start of the topic, the chapter. So it was so wonderfully you explained these verses. So we are very fortunate to have you today. And if nobody has any question or comment, we can end up the call here. पांचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। नमः दास ठाकुर की जय। जय श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। His Grace Raghunandan Das Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for your
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.